Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and I thought for our class today we do a soft, steady flow, and it's going to be a little bit different today. So we're going to start in standing. So we do need some props before we get started, though. Same props that we always use. So we're going to use a blanket, a bolster, and oops, this is our block, a yoga block, blanket, and a bolster. We are going to start in standing, make our way down to a seated posture, do some more breath work, and then continue with our steady flow. So starting in mountain pose, standing with your feet about hip distance apart, your toes pointing forward. Just want to create a nice alignment for the lower half of your body as we stand in this format. And then just feel the lengthening of your spine as you stand nice and tall. You might even roll your shoulders a couple of times, roll them backward, roll them forward, even shrug your shoulders, lift them up to your earlobes, and then down. One more time, just to lift and release. And just hold here for a few moments just to get reintroduced to your breath. Nice slow breaths in and out. Listening to the sound of your breath, feeling your breath as it moves through your entire body. Good. Just getting in tuned here. Strong, steady body, full alignment throughout your entire body as we stand in mountain pose. Just take 3 more breaths. Just a very simple movement. We'll inhale, extend the arms out and up. Just treat this like a nice stretch. Reach all the way towards the ceiling, then exhale, extend your arms out and bring them back down to your side. Do that one more time. Inhale, extend the arms out, reaching up, feel the lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, bring your arms back down to your side. Good. Let's go through a half salute to the sun. Standing near the top of the mat still, we'll inhale, extend the arms all the way up. Exhale, carefully fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and slowly make your way down towards your toes. Now you don't have to touch your toes. Maybe your hands land at your shins right here. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or your thighs, and extend your spine, long, flat back. Now on this exhale, we'll carefully fold. Just bend your knees as much as you need to as you just slide down, maybe touching your toes this time. Release your head, your neck, even your shoulders. Feel free to hang heavily forward here for a few moments, just so you feel this stretch and lengthening all the way down through your back body and down through your legs. Then we'll return to a halfway lift. Inhale, slide your hands back up to your shins or knees, extending your spine. Pause here as you exhale. So a half forward fold. Feet still are firm on the floor. Your torso is parallel to the ground. And then a shift of weight back into your heels. Bend your knees to lower your hips like you're sitting down into a low chair, lifting the chest a little bit so we're about a 45-degree angle. Extend your arms out to the side, then inhale, rise up all the way, reaching towards the sky. Another nice stretch. Exhale, bring your arms back down to your side. We're gonna do that one more time, just making it flow this time. Same thing, move at your own pace. Just a steady flow here. Inhale, reaching out. Same stretch quality throughout the body. Exhale, lead with your heart. Fold forward, soft knees. Feel like you're sitting back into an imaginary seat behind you. Make your way down. Again, maybe touching your toes. We're making it flow this time, but still take your time. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees. Long, flat back. Exhale, right back down to your forward fold. Complete release as you're able here. Then your weight shift into your heels. Bend your knees to lower your hips. Extending your spine. Start to rise up partially. Arms out to the side. Keep standing straight, strong legs. Reach up towards the sky. You can even tip your chin up, look up past fingertips. Exhale, arms down to your side and look forward. Good, just pause here. That's just our half salute to the sun, just starting to warm up the body. All right, let's keep going. Here we go. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, fold forward. A good hinge from your hips. Always okay to bend your knees as you make your way down towards your toes. Inhale, rise up halfway, long, flat back. This exhale, fold, bend your knees. Bring your hands to the floor, out in front of your feet. Just step the feet back all the way to the back end of your mat. We're going to pause here in our high push-up position, plank pose, just to feel the strength through the entire body. Pushing firmly into the floor with the hands so you have strong, straight arms. Make sure your hips aren't sinking here, but lifted so they're maybe at shoulder level. Long spine, long, strong legs. Now we're going to gently bring knees to the floor. Right here. Let's stay here for cat and cow. Inhale to lift chin and chest, opening the heart, arching your back a bit. Exhale, round it out carefully. Feeling your belly button pull up towards spine, chin to chest. Again, inhale, feel the pelvis tip back. That creates the back bend. Your belly feels like it drops towards the floor. Open your heart, lift the chin, and then exhale into cat pose. Rounding the spine. Belly button pulling up towards spine. Do that 2 more times. Breathing in, arching the back. Exhale, rounding. And maybe just 1 more here. And when we're complete, just pause in a neutral tabletop posture. Keep your gaze downward between your hands on the floor so your neck is long. We're going to carefully sit back into hero pose just to get off of the hands and just feel that natural stretch through your knees, thighs, and the tops of the feet and ankles. And then sit off to the side. We'll swing the legs around to the front here. I'm just going to carefully come to a seated posture. This is where you can sit on your blanket. I'm just going to hold here for a moment, just as we typically do in our soft flow practice. Just nice and tall in the spine. We're just going to do some side bends while we're here. Now you can place your right hand over here on your mat, and the left hand can come up and over, or bring in your block, either your hand or your elbow. So if you could bring your elbow down, that'll just bring you lower, okay? So I'm gonna do both, but first I'll just place the hand here. So right hand here, left hand, inhale, reaching up towards the sky. Exhale, just reaching overhead. So I'm bending the right elbow so I can reach overhead and feel that natural stretch through the left side of the body. So I'm mirroring you here. Breathing so you can even feel the expansion of your rib cage on that side. Nice side bend. Now I'm just going to push into the floor on this side so I can inhale and come right back up. Exhale, bring hand down to the side. Now I can do the same thing here with left hand on the floor, but let's do a little bit different with the block if you want to go a little lower. Bringing the elbow down to the block as if it was like an armchair. So here. So inhale, taking the right hand out and up, reaching for the ceiling, and exhale, reaching overhead, like that. So somewhat similar sensation, but just slightly lower because I'm resting on the arm. Actually, it's a little bit more restful rather than being propped up onto the hands. Breathing through the right side of the body. We'll take 1 more breath. And we'll inhale and come back up, pushing into the block to help come back up, bringing the arm back down to your side. Go ahead and roll your shoulders a little bit. Roll the shoulders back and forward. Just turning to the side here, keeping legs crossed for a moment. Bring the hands behind you now. Just prop yourself up onto your fingertips. And just do feel the shoulders roll back so the chest expands and opens. We'll tip the chin up slightly here. Inhale and just press the fingertips into the floor so you can feel the energy shoot up the arms. Take a deep breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, this time as you're able, draw your belly button in towards your spine and squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Again, inhale, fill up your lungs, hands press into the floor. Exhale, pull belly button in, squeeze shoulder blades together behind you. We're creating our seated mild back bend. Lots of energy generated in the body as we create this pose. One more breath. Nicely expansive. And as we exhale, you can just lower the chin, walk your hands towards yourself, and even bring the hands to your lap for a moment. And just notice that change from a very active body to a little bit more relaxed body. Now we're getting set for our forward fold. So if your legs are crossed here, you might uncross the legs so we can come to cobbler's pose. So just bring the soles of your feet together. You can even scoop up your toes here or hold on to your ankles or shins. Just want to be able to sit up nice and tall, nicely lengthen through the spine initially. Inhale here. Same exhale as we draw belly button in and start to hinge forward a little bit. And here you might be able to reach out and catch the toes. Inhale, keep extending through the spine at this new angle. Exhale, draw belly button in and perhaps hinge a little bit more. I'm going to stay just like this, not going any deeper, but I certainly feel the sensation in my inner legs. Nicely extended spine. Deep breaths. So a gentle forward fold initially in our cobbler's pose or bound angle, which is a nice hip opener. 3 more breaths. And when we're complete, we'll hinge our way back up so we're nice and tall. Just release. Now I'm just going to lift myself up and kind of scoop back a little bit to extend the legs. I'm going to move my blanket to the side here so we get a nice hamstring stretch in the seated position. So flexing the feet just to keep the legs strong. Place your hands on the floor by your hips, pushing down into the floor to help maintain a lengthened spine. Here you might also roll the shoulders back, squeeze shoulder blades together. That will engage your upper back to feel more supported in your upper back. And when we exhale, don't forget, draw belly button in to support the lower belly. So we're going to inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze behind and pull belly in. One more. And then we'll take a forward fold. Keeping the spine as straight as possible. Inhale, let's extend the arms up into the air. Exhale, hinge, fold a little bit, and then just bring the hands down to your legs. Mine have landed at the shins, that yours might land at your knees, maybe closer to your ankles, maybe you can even touch your toes. I'm just going to stay here. Just as I didn't go too deep in the cobbler's pose in the folding format, I'm not folding too deeply here. I'm just maintaining the full length of the legs. I can really feel this in the hamstrings, even my calves a little bit. Nice active feet and the extended spine. One more breath. After that breath, just free your hands, reach forward, then inhale, shoot the arms straight up and hinge your way back up so you form a nice right angle. Exhale, arms down to your side. I'm going to step the hands back, lean back, and just bend the knees, bring the heels in on the floor. Just doing a variation of boat pose. So I'm just leaning back a little bit, but I want to maintain the extended spine. So I'm still pushing into the floor with my hands just to feel the extended spine, but I'm leaning back a little bit. Now you might be looking directly forward, but that drops the chin towards the chest. You want to lift the chin a little bit so the neck is in the same alignment as the spine. Right about here is good. And just continue with breaths. Inhale, lift. or just feel the breath rising to fill your lungs. You can exhale through your mouth so you can feel the air leave your belly, engaging the belly button here, but really engaging your core here. Inhale, length, fill up the lungs. Exhale. This is our modified boat pose. Alrighty. Continue to feel this sensation because we're going to return to plank pose in a moment, which also can really energize our core. Let's do one more breath. I'm softening here, crossing legs. If you're able, roll forward and get hands in front, and then roll over to extend the legs back behind you. If that's a little bit challenging, you can bring the hands to your side, uncross your legs, and just swing them around back behind you. You'll be on hands and knees for a second, and then plank pose. Again, pushing hands into the floor, strong straight arms, lengthening through the spine. Now with your exhale, still pull your belly button up towards your spine to feel that core engagement. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, bend your knees a little and send your hips into the air as we move into our first downward facing dog. You can automatically just feel the hands push into the floor, arms stay straight, and your chest, your head kind of sink down between the arms. Knees can stay very bent here, and then go ahead and pedal the feet. Press one heel down as the other heel lifts, so you can feel that nice natural stretch in the calves and your toes. Let's move through a lunge sequence. I'm going to step my left foot to center on the mat, then pick up the right foot, then inhale, extend the right leg straight back and up into the air. Exhale, bend this right knee, bring the right knee in underneath you as you shift your whole upper body forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. Knee is coming in, we're going to set the toes down. Then we're going to set the left knee onto the floor, pulling some of the weight away from the hands. Free your right hand. And if your foot is way back, then here you want to pick up your foot, lift it, and just place it up maybe just behind the right wrist. And then re-lift the left knee. We're in a lunge here. You're going to turn that back leg so your left heel is on the floor. If the weight is still forward towards your hands, rise up onto your fingertips a little bit. Feel the body lift. Shift your body weight back. Keep walking the hands back a little bit so you're starting to bring more energy to this back leg and foot. Then you can start walking up the leg. Bring your hands up to your thigh here. I like to push into the thigh to maintain the extended spine. And your torso is right over the thigh. Crown is pointing forward. If you can, free your hands. Maybe take them out. Hinge your way up, reaching towards the sky here. And then lunge. You'll be in a warrior one. As you extend and reach, especially through this left side, you're going to feel this perhaps down through this left hip flexor area. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly and carefully turn your torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Here you might need to make some adjustments with your feet. My front foot feels fine, but my back leg, I like to turn out a little bit more. This just feels a little bit more natural in the warrior two position. Just hold here for a moment. Nice, steady balance. Now, just be aware if your feet are too close together, you might feel a little wobbly like you're on a surfboard. So you can take them slightly wider so you can really settle into your center here. Right knee and toes pointing forward. Arms might be getting a little tired, so here, let's reach out to angle the upper half of the body, rotate the arms so your right arm's reaching downward, maybe just bracing the right arm onto inner thigh, left hand reaching into the air. And a nice opening sensation in our side angle pose. Good, let's breathe in. As we exhale, I like to come back up a little bit, turn towards the floor, pick the arms out, flip the palms up, and then fold, because I'm going to catch myself onto my hands. Once the hands are on the floor, rise back up onto tiptoes so the heel is lifted. So we're in a nice lunge here. Okay, we're going to continue on this side. Now, if your blanket is nearby, get it underneath you, and we're going to bring the left knee down to the blanket, shifting the weight back a little bit so I can climb up the leg so I'm here. Now you may end up with these nice right angles of the front leg and back leg. We're going to change the front leg. I'm going to lean back a little bit, less weight on that foot. I'm just going to wiggle the whole foot forward, and it changes the angle. All right, so here now my knee, if I drew a straight line from the knee down, it'll hit the floor rather than the ankle or the heel. That's what I want. I'm going to be lunging forward. I'm going to go ahead and place the hands on the thigh again. Gently press right in the center to get nice and tall, lengthening through the torso. Exhale, start to send the hips forward. Everything shifts forward. A little bit is fine here. Start to feel that, again, the stretch in the left hip flexor. Now, the taller you are, the more of a back bend you'll start to sense in the back body, and perhaps even more of a stretch in the front leg. If you want to soften that, go ahead and come forward a little bit. Just lean forward, okay? It just takes some of the tension away from the front and the back. But you're going to still feel the strength building in this front leg in this nice lunge. We're not going to be here too long, and we really don't need to go too deep for this posture. Sometimes we can bring hands right down to the floor for this, but for soft flow, we'll keep it up high. All right, feeling the strength of this leg and this nice stretch, I'm going to come back up nice and tall here, okay? Now I'm going to carefully lean and bring the hands, maybe just to fingertips, back down to the floor. I'm going to tuck my toes behind me of that left foot, lifting the knee. Try to slide the blanket away. I'm going to get my palms back on the floor so I can get a nice push into the floor with the hands. If your hips feel pretty low, try to lift your hips so you can pull this right foot back as best as you can, and you'll return to plank pose. Nice strong body, core engaged. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees again, send your hips up into the air, moving into downward facing dog. There's the sinking of the chest and head between the arms. You can always adjust the feet a little bit on your mat and even your hands just to feel a little bit more steady. Now the other side, I'm going to step my right foot to center. This just helps with balance. Picking up the left foot, then extend with an inhale, the left leg straight back. Exhale, bend this left knee, bring the left knee in underneath you towards your chest, and then shift your whole upper body forward until your shoulders are over your wrists, and let this foot land. Again, if you can get it up to the hand, go ahead and do so, but if you can't, just set it down, even if it's far away from the hand. Bring the right knee to the floor, pull the weight away from the hand so you can free your left hand, pick up left foot, step it up a little higher like that. Replant the left hand, relift the right knee, turn or pivot the right heel to the floor behind you, rise up onto your fingertips, send the weight back, more pressure in that back foot. Walk up the leg, up to the thigh, so hands on thigh here, push into the thigh, just to help you extend the spine. Remember your torso right over the thigh, crown pointing forward. Make sure you feel steady and strong here. As you're able, extend your arms out, rise up, reach up into the air, so we're in our warrior one position. Reach high, lunge low. Again, now we got the extension and reach and stretch through the right hip flexor, right down through the right side of the body. Here we go, breathe in, exhale carefully and slowly turn to your right side as your arms come down to parallel. Making the adjustments with the feet. I'm just going to turn my back foot out to open the leg a little bit, open the hip. Nice lunge here, and make sure you can have that nice, steady stance. I like to say you're sitting in the pocket, okay, so you don't feel like you're on that surfboard. Nice extended arms in your warrior two. Side angle pose, let's reach out. Angled upper body, rotate the arms, left arm will come to brace on the inner left leg, right hand reaching straight up into the air. Nice opening sensation here. Couple of breaths. Good leg strengthening in these postures. We'll take a breath in. On the exhale, I like to lift a little. So I'm going to relax the arms, start to turn forward, take the arms out, flip the palms up, and then fold so I can catch myself onto the hands. Press, rise up onto tiptoes, behind. So we're in this lunge. So we're going to bring the right knee to the floor. We're going to bring in the blanket for a little softness. Here's the knee to the floor. Pull the weight back a little bit so I can come up onto the thigh. Here's our right angles. We're going to change that front one, of course. Wiggle the foot forward, right about there. Pressing into the mid-thighs. I inhale just to assist the lengthening of the spine. Exhaling, starting to send the hips forward. And you see everything kind of shifts. And so this new alignment becomes knee over ankle without aggravating the knee at all. Again, if you stay up nice and tall, you might feel a slight back bend sensation and more stretch in the right hip flexor. If you need to soften that, just lean forward just a little, or more if you need to. I'm going to stay up a little higher this time to really get that right hip flexor stretch. And of course, if you lean more forward, you're going to put more tension in the front leg, and it'll build some strength here. You can try to find that balance of the strength in the front leg and the stretch in the right. It's a good way to be very aware of the sensations that are moving through your body. A couple more breaths here. All right, I'm going to carefully release and fold so I can bring my fingertips to the floor in front, tuck toes behind, lifting the knee away from the blanket so I can move the blanket out of the way, and then get the palms on the floor. Now, if you're sinking in your hips, it's going to be too difficult to slide this foot back. So as best as you can, lift your hips. You almost have to rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Hands firm on the floor so you can slide this left foot back, and there's our plank pose. Hold for strength. Then we're going to gently set the knees onto the floor. Sit back briefly in hero pose. Sit off to the side. Bring the legs around to the front. Make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat because we're going to roll down onto your back. This is where you're going to need your block. 1 or 2 blocks or some stacked books or even a big cushion can help with this. So we're going to move into our bridge pose, our supported bridge. So carefully roll down onto your back. You can bring knees with you to your chest. This feels nice. Maybe a nice massage here as you perhaps rock left and right, forward and back. I like to create circles and figure eights. And also maybe circle the feet, circle the ankles, just to get more relief in the joints. Now we're ready for our back bend. So keeping the knees bent, we'll just plant the feet into the ground. Make sure they feel steady and strong on the ground. Got a hold of your block or other prop there. We're going to breathe in, fill up your lungs. Exhale through your mouth so you can feel the engaged belly as the air leaves your belly. Using that sensation to press feet into the floor, lift hips high enough to slide your prop underneath you. I'm going to turn my block up 1 notch here so I can sit just like this, just high enough to settle. So I'm sitting on the block, make sure it's in a good spot so you don't lose it. And you may have seen I just moved my feet out a little wider. That's just for a little bit more stability. And then I like to get the shoulders and arms a little bit more underneath me. Actually, I feel a bit more supported here too. So the backs of the arms, shoulders pressing into the floor just to help this opening in the chest. I feel a bit more stable here. Now the arms can just rest on the floor, perhaps palms up, especially since the shoulders are underneath you. And just take several breaths. So really just opening the front side of the body in this very gentle and easy fashion. Just going through our gentle, steady flow today. Mixing it up. Now you're welcome just to stay here, kind of this restful position, but you can even add some activation, which we'll do here. So the activation is really to engage the legs and the glutes. So you might take a breath in, fill up the lungs. As you exhale, press feet into the floor, push, lift off of your prop so you can feel your glutes and hamstrings engage. Hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, and then take a seat, right back down onto the block and settle. We're just gonna do that one more time. Again, this is completely optional. Inhale. Exhale, engaging, press feet into the floor, lift hips, feel the engagement, hold. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to rest, come back down to the block. There. And then we're ready to come out of the pose. Now, of course, we do need to lift so we can come off the block just high enough to slide the block out from underneath you and then roll your way back down to the earth. Go ahead and extend the legs out front and even reach your arms behind you for a nice natural stretch. Let's do another leg stretch while we're lying on the floor. Keep the left leg straight on the floor. Bring right knee into chest and just catch it in your hands. Lightly flex your foot and as best as you can extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Perfectly fine if the leg needs to stay bent here. Just hold on to the leg with both hands. That's all. And you might feel this natural stretch. And don't worry if the foot doesn't point directly up. Maybe it's a little bit lower, something like this. Having a strap, if you need a little extra stability, of getting the leg to stay in the air is perfectly fine. But just getting this nice stretch. 2 more breaths. We'll bend the knee, set the foot onto the floor. We're gonna do a hip opener here too, okay? So I just set the foot on the floor, the knee is still bent. I'm gonna send my knee over to the right side, even to either to the floor or if your block is right there, just let that knee rest on the block. And then maybe the right foot just touches the inner left leg. So a nice kind of this lying down hip opener. And just for a little extra, maybe extend the arms behind you. Now, if you're familiar with these poses, this might resemble tree pose. So you can think of this as a tree that's lying down. And we will be doing tree that's standing up. 2 more breaths. You can bring your arms back down. We'll lift the knee and then slide the leg so it's straight. Let's do the other side. So the right leg will stay on the floor. We'll draw the left knee in, catch it in your hands. Lightly flex the left foot. We'll extend the leg. Don't worry about a bent knee. And don't worry about a lowered leg. Just come to a place where you do feel the natural stretch. Two more breaths. And then we'll gently bend the knees so you can place the foot back down onto the floor. Keep the knee bent, and we'll come to our reclining tree pose. Let's take the knee out to the side. I just moved my block over here so the knee can rest here. The foot just touching the inner right leg. And if you'd like, extend the arms behind you. Nice hip opener, and continuing to feel this stretch and lengthening through the whole body. Two more breaths. And then you can bring your arms back down by your side. Let's lift the knee, Re-extend the leg. One more stretch of the entire body. So legs out front, both arms behind you. And then we'll draw both knees into chest. Carefully roll to either side. And then use your hands to help press yourself up to a seated position. Return to that boat pose we did earlier. So making sure you're seated nicely, knees are bent, heels are on the floor, hands behind you for support. Roll the shoulders back, push into the floor just to help the chest expand. Remember, we are leaning back a little bit, and tip the chin up so the neck is in the same alignment as the spine. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, pull belly in for that core engagement. One more. Exhale. Good. Now you can just roll to the side and get the legs back behind you, or cross legs, push forward and get the hands in front, roll over to the front and step the feet back as you're able. Just make your way as carefully as you can to plank pose. Let's breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, send your hips into the air, returning to downward facing dog. Holding for a breath or two here. Keep pressing firmly into the mat with the hands. Soft knees will allow for mobile hips, so your hips can lift into the air to continue the fully extended spine here. That should feel good. Now look up between the hands and start walking or stepping the feet up towards the top of the mat, or even just the center of your mat, until your feet feel flat on the ground. And if your hands are far away, just slide your fingers towards your toes. You'll be in forward fold. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees, extending your spine. A slight pause here in our half forward fold. As we return to a full standing posture, shift your weight into your heels, bend your knees to lower your hips, lifting the chest 45 degrees, arms out to the side. When you have balance, drive heels into the floor, standing up nice and tall. Big stretch, reach high, just like we did lying down. Exhale, arms down to your side. Wonderful. Great, we're doing some wonderful work. So we got some flow going, we got some floor work, and then we get back into a flow. Okay, now some balancing. We did our tree pose lying down, and we're gonna do our tree pose standing up. So again, feet about hip distance apart, toes forward. Do soften the knees here a little bit. Start shifting your weight into your right foot. I'm still mirroring you. Right foot rooted into the floor, keep that knee soft. Inhale, feel nice and tall, lengthen spine, even through the neck. Exhale, pull belly button in to engage your core body. I'm peeling the left heel off the floor, lifting the foot, bending the knee until the thigh is parallel to the floor. Now, if you need something to help with balance, use a wall. Just stand near a wall. Swing the knee out to the side, and we're just going to place the foot on the inside of the standing leg, just like we did lying down. Inhale as best as you can. Take both arms up. Unless you're holding on to something, just take one arm up. Reaching high, getting the length through the sides of the body, opening up through the hips. Won't be here too long. Keep the arms in the air as best as you can. Let's swing this left knee forward, lifting the knee, flex your foot just to energize the leg, plant the foot into the ground, rebalance on 2 feet, arms return to your side. Feel free to roll your shoulders a few times, backward and forward. And that foot we're just standing on, I like to do a little stretch through the toes and even maybe shake out the foot. Okay, let's get ready for the other side. Mountain pose. Soft knees, shift weight into left foot, root and connect. Inhale, lengthening through the spine, nice and tall. Exhale, draw belly button in. That's our security. We're picking up the right foot, flex the foot, thighs parallel to the floor. Do your best. Swing the knee out to the side, placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. Now you can always use the floor. You're gonna bring your toes to the floor if you don't have a wall near you, okay? And then when you're ready, extend your arms up into the air. Oh, I can feel myself losing balance, but that's okay. We can always lose balance. That's just part of our practice. Reaching high, opening up through the hip as best as you can, focusing directly forward or even down a little bit at the ground. That might help with your stability. Okay, keep the arms extended. We'll swing the right knee forward now, lifting your knee with the flexed foot. There it is. Plant the foot into the ground, rebalancing on 2 feet. Arms return to your side. We're complete there. Roll the shoulders. Good, and even check in with that standing foot. Shake it out. Alrighty, let's do a chair pose with a twist. Let's introduce a twist. Still standing near the top of your mat. Inhale, extend your arms into the air. Exhale, take chair pose, sitting back and down, but you'll bring your hands to heart center. So we have a nice 45-degree angle through the upper body. We're sitting back as if there was a chair behind us. Nice knee bend right here. Breathe in. And as we exhale, you're going to twist to your right. You don't have to sit down too deeply unless you want to. That will bring some more strength to the thighs. Just be mindful of the knees here, and you don't have to over-rotate here either. Just a slight turn of the upper body, making sure your feet are still planted on the ground, knees are aligned, hips are aligned, just an upper body rotation. We're breathing in. Exhale, unwind. I like to place hands on thighs. Push into thighs to help stand. Re-stretch the entire body, reaching up into the air, and then continue. Exhaling, sitting back and down into your chair pose, hands to heart center. Inhale, keep the fully extended spine. Exhale, pull belly in, and here's your rotation to the left side. Again, stay up high if you want to stay up high, or go down a little lower. Just check in to notice how this feels in your thighs, your waistline, your sides. Okay? And again, you don't have to rotate too far. Never need to over-rotate. Just a little bit of a turn of the torso is plenty for this particular pose. Okay, breathe in. And as we exhale, we'll unwind, place hands on thighs. Hold for a moment. This allows the spine to realign. And then we're just going to slide down into a forward fold. That should create a nice release through the entire back body after that twist. Inhale, let's rise up halfway, just a little bit, or just feel the extended spine. Exhale, fold all the way down. Bend your knees a whole lot more so you can get the hands out onto the mat in front of you. And we're taking a full step back into plank pose, top of our push-up. Breathing in. This exhale, down dog. Bend the knees, send your hips into the air. Adjust your feet, adjust your hands. So we're just going through a nice steady flow. We're stepping left foot to the center. Inhale, pick up right foot and extend the right leg back. Exhale, bend the right knee as best as you can. We're sending right foot to the floor behind the right wrist. You can certainly do the other method like we did earlier to get the foot where you want it. Once you're here, turn left heel to the floor, walking the hands back to get more planted into that back foot. I'm extending through the spine. Maybe free the hands now, hinging from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. There's our first warrior. As we exhale, turn torso towards left side. Arms come down to parallel. I'm already adjusting that back foot. There's our warrior 2. Side angle, reaching out. There it is. Rotate the arms. I'm going to bring my right arm down. The first time we took the left arm straight up, I'm going to take it overhead a little bit just to get that left side stretch. Let's turn this into a twist. Breathe in. I'm going to exhale carefully, turn towards the floor. This left hand, either bring it down to the ground, or if your block is nearby, bring in that block. I like to turn it up to its highest level. Hand on the block. Even rise up onto the tiptoes behind you here. Okay? So you're up nice and high for this pose, because we are going to twist. I'm going to take my right arm, extend it straight out to the side. Be sure the spine is straight, creating as much space all the way up and down the spine, and then exhale, start to rotate to that side. Just a little bit will do. You're going to feel a lot of strength in this front leg like we did in that lunge we did earlier. We have a mild rotation to the right side of the room. Okay, but we can easily get tired here, and that's fine. So we're going to come right out. We're not going to hold it too long. We're going to rotate here, Bring both hands to the floor. I'm going to move my block over onto the right side. Both hands to the floor. Press firmly into the floor. Lift hips, maybe up on tiptoes behind, so I can free up this right foot, slide it back. There's our plank pose again. Soft knees, send hips into the air with an exhale. It's our return to downward facing dog. Adjusting the feet, adjusting the hands. Nice settling in sensation into down dog. Ready for the other side. I'm stepping right foot to center for balance. Inhale to pick up left foot, extend the left leg back. Straight line as best as you can. Exhale, bend left knee, send the body forward, send this left foot forward. Didn't quite make it, and that's fine. What I'm going to do is just wiggle the foot forward until I get it just up to the wrist. That works too. Turn right heel to the floor, rise up to fingertips to get more pressure in that back foot. I'm extending through spine. I feel balance so I can start to lift. Extend the arms out, rise up, reach up into the air, immediately open to the warrior two. Adjusting the feet so that you're nicely planted in your warrior two position. Side angle, here it comes. Reach out, angled upper body. Rotate the arms, reach down. Reach up initially with the right arm, but send it overhead to feel the length through the right side of the body. Now, again, we're going to turn this into a rotating posture. Here we go. Breathe in. Exhale, turn towards the floor. This right hand will come down to the ground, or hopefully you can still reach your block. Bring it in. I'm just resting this hand on the thigh for stability. And then rise up onto the tiptoes behind you so everything's facing forward. Extend the left arm straight out. It's like an airplane wing. Make sure you're fully extended through the torso, making all that space in the spine so we can exhale and rotate to the left. Something like this. Now, if this arm or shoulder gets tired, it's okay to bring it down because you're still rotating. Alrighty, how about 2 more breaths? Here we go. Breathe in. Exhale. Let's return to the floor. I'm moving my block. Hands planted. Not sinking, but lifting high enough so I can free the left foot. Step or slide it back. Plank pose. Hold for a few more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. We're bringing the knees to the floor. Sit back briefly in hero. There we go. Sit off to the side. Swing legs around to the front. I'm going to scoot forward and roll on to back. Bring knees into chest. Nice circles, any kind of movement that might feel good for the spine and your hips. Alrighty. Another hip opener. Lightly flex both feet. I'm still holding onto the shins or knees and just taking the legs wide. Now, I typically stop here for our happy baby pose, and so all I did was just bend the elbows, the backs of my arms are just resting on the floor, and my legs are almost just resting in my hands, something like this. This is perfectly fine for a variation of happy baby pose, or if you want to, and you can, free the hands. If you can, catch hold of the soles of your feet and then send them up towards the ceiling. Okay, if you can do that, go for it. If you can't quite reach the feet, hold on to your ankles, or you can maintain this other variation. Now pay attention to a couple of things. One, yes, this is a wonderful hip opener. If you are holding on to the feet or ankles, you're gently pressing downward so your knees feel like they're moving towards the floor, and this should create sensation in the inner legs. But also notice your spine. Since you're lying flat, okay, nice long spine here. Okay, now bring the soles of the feet together. Hold on to the feet still. Gently, with a little effort, press the heels down towards your pelvis while your knees push forward towards the front corners of your mat. This is a reclining cobbler's pose. We did a seated version, okay, which we added a forward fold to it, but still maintain or be aware of a lengthened spine. I'm saying that because we're going to do a little variation of this that will create a back bend. All right, here's one version of Supta Baddha Konasana, or a reclining bound angle pose. Here's a second version, which we typically do together. Just set the feet onto the floor. Feet are still touching, knees bent and open. Now you can place props underneath the knees here just for a little extra support. Just feel that nice natural release and stretch in the inner legs. Now this is the pose that we're going to replicate, but turn it into a back bend in a moment. Three more breaths here. After your third breath, like you're closing a big book, I'm just going to bring my right knee over to the left leg and just turn like I'm closing a book. Press the hands into the floor and come up to seated, but just briefly. Here's where I want to use my bolster. All right, if you don't have a bolster, maybe some rolled up blankets, pillows, cushions from the sofa, anything that you might have. Okay, to place behind you like this. Hopefully something firm and slightly high. I'm going to sit right up against my bolster and lie back. This is what's going to create the back bend right here. And options as far as legs are concerned. You can keep the legs straight out in front, or what we just did was reclining cobbler's pose. So knees bent, feet together. So same posture with the legs, but now we've created this arched back sensation. So kind of this supported back bend. It's so wonderful. And just a few more breaths here. We do have one more pose to do, and it's just going to be a twist. And when we finish our twist, we'll return to or move into Shavasana. But you're very welcome to actually return to this pose because it can act as a wonderful restorative position. But for now, let's just take two more breaths. After the second breath, again closing the book, but this time we're kind of rolling off of that cushion, carefully to the side, press and lift. I'm going to move my bolster out of the way, and then go ahead and lie back down. Bring both knees into chest. Let's finish with our twist. We're sending both knees over to the left as you extend your right arm out to the right, and this will create that rotation in the spine. So several things for the back body if you were paying attention. So first, lying flat, nice long spine, and then we created a back bend for the spine, and now we're twisting. Just some nice restorative movements for the back body. Paying close attention to the spine. All right, two more breaths on this first side. Carefully return to center. You can hug the knees in. And then off to the other side when you're ready. Knees to the right, left arm to the left. Settle into the rotation. This will feel different than those other twists that we did, like the chair pose twist. Here we're certainly in a much more relaxed sensation. About 3 more breaths here. When you feel complete, you can just bring the knees back up to center. You might hug the knees in, and then extend your legs straight out in front of you, arms resting down by your side as you make your way to Shavasana. Now feel free to use your props. You might place a blanket underneath you. You can even place a blanket on top of you, just in case your body feels a little chilled, for example. Feel free to place a blanket over you, so you can maintain and contain the warmth you developed in your body. You can always come back to the supported back bend using some pillows and cushions. But wherever you are, just settle in, feel completely relaxed. Allow your muscles to disengage as best as you can. Just imagine that you're just melting into the ground. Your eyes can remain opened, but for full release and relaxation, you might just naturally close your eyes. Still feel your breath. Listen to the sound of your breath, although it might be soft. If your mind begins to wander, that's okay, very natural. If you do notice that you start to think of something, just notice that you're thinking, then take a deep breath. By taking a deep breath, you bring your full attention back to this moment, brings you back to the present. And stay here in this mindful meditation, full release. Letting go, having moved through our steady flow today. Now, you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Even as I end the practice, stay right here, especially if you've developed a wonderfully comfortable place and you want to continue this meditative moment. But when you are ready to move, start with breath. Just bring a little bit more energy to the breath. So maybe taking 5 slow, deep breaths. Certainly feel the breath move through your body as it generates new energy and movement. Listen to the sound of your breath. After your 5th breath, and you feel movement has returned to your body, move in slow motion. Carefully, slowly roll to one side of your body. Even rest here for a few seconds. Still moving in slow motion, press and lift yourself up to seated. Perhaps bring in a prop to sit on, like a blanket or your pillow. Perhaps crossing your legs. And as best as you can, sit up nice and tall, nice lengthened spine. As we did earlier at the beginning of the practice, we just roll the shoulders gently. Roll them backward and roll them forward. Let's do another shrug of the shoulders, lift towards earlobes, and press down. Looking directly forward. One last movement together. Inhale, extend the arms out and up. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Take one more full and complete breath. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.